If any of these 10 animals were still alive today, you would not be watching this video outside. You'd be watching it from a bunker. We like to think we live in a dangerous world. Sharks, bears, venomous snakes. But every single one of those pales in comparison to what used to roam this planet. For hundreds of millions of years, evolution wasn't interested in fairness. It was an arms race. Bigger jaws, faster legs, thicker armor, deadlier venom. And the survivors of that race make our modern apex predators look like house pets. So today, we're counting down 10 creatures that once ruled this earth, and that you should be deeply, personally grateful are no longer around. Stick around to the end, because number 1 has a twist that might change how safe you feel right now, because a piece of it never actually left. Let's start the countdown.
Number 10 is an animal that looked like someone took a warthog, fed it steroids for 10 million years, and gave it the personality of a starving wolf. The entelodont, nicknamed the hell pig or Terminator pig by paleontologists, stood about the size of a modern bison, roughly 6 feet at the shoulder. But it wasn't built like a peaceful grazer. It had a massive skull with bony knobs along the jaw, powerful crushing teeth, and a bite force strong enough to shatter bone. And it wasn't picky. Fossil evidence shows entelodonts scavenged, hunted live prey, and very likely fought each other over territory and food, with skulls found bearing deep bite mark scars from other entelodonts.
Here's the terrifying part. These animals could run. Despite their bulk, their leg structure suggests they were surprisingly fast for their size, meaning there was no simply outrunning one. They died out around 16 million years ago, most likely outcompeted by more specialized predators and changing grassland ecosystems that favored leaner, faster hunters. Which brings us to something arguably worse. Imagine an ostrich. Now imagine that ostrich is 9 feet tall, weighs over 300 pounds, and has a hooked beak built specifically for tearing flesh instead of pecking seeds. That's Titanus, one of the largest of the terror birds, a group of flightless apex predators that dominated South America and eventually parts of North America for millions.
To 30 miles per hour, fast enough to run down most prey species of its time. Its head worked almost like a hatchet, delivering rapid downward strikes to stun or kill. Unlike most modern birds, Titanus had virtually no natural predators as an adult. It was, quite simply, at the top of its food chain, using pure speed and a weaponized skull instead of claws or venom. Terror birds eventually went extinct as the Great American Biotic Interchange brought new mammalian predators, like large cats, into South America, and the changing landscape favored different hunting strategies. Their reign lasted an astonishing 60 million years before finally ending. Now we go smaller, in a sense, but somehow more disturbing. Arthroplura was a millipede-like arthropod that grew up to 8.5 feet long, longer than most adult humans are tall. And it crawled across. It's currently the largest land invertebrate ever known to have existed. While scientists debate whether it was purely a plant and detritus eater or occasionally opportunistic, the sheer size alone makes it disturbing. A segmented, many-legged creature the length of a small car, capable of squeezing through underbrush completely silently. Its size was made possible by unusually high oxygen levels in Earth's atmosphere at the time, which allowed arthropods to grow far larger than they can today. As oxygen levels dropped and the climate shifted, giant arthropods like Arthroplura simply couldn't sustain their massive bodies anymore, and they vanished. To 30 miles per hour, fast enough to run down most prey species of its time. Its head worked almost like a hatchet, delivering rapid downward strikes to stun or kill. Unlike most modern birds, Titanus had virtually no natural predators as an adult. It was, quite simply, at the top of its food chain, using pure speed and a weaponized skull instead of claws or venom. terror birds eventually went extinct as the Great American Biotic Interchange brought new mammalian predators, like large cats, into South America. And the changing landscape favored different hunting strategies. Their reign lasted an astonishing 60 million years before finally ending. Now we go smaller in a sense, but somehow more disturbing. Arthroplura was a millipede-like arthropod that grew up to 8.5 feet long, longer than most adult humans are tall. And it crawled across.
Every list like this needs a giant crocodilian, and Deinosuchus earns its spot. This ambush predator lived around 75 to 82 million years ago and could grow up to 35 feet long, more than double the length of the largest crocodiles alive today, with an estimated weight of over 5 tons. Deinosuchus didn't chase prey. It didn't need to. Like modern crocodiles, it relied on stealth, hiding just beneath the water's surface before exploding upward in a single, unstoppable strike. Bite marks found on dinosaur bones, including those of large duck-billed dinosaurs, suggest Deinosuchus was capable of taking down prey many times larger than any predator a modern crocodile could handle.
Its extinction ties into broader environmental shifts near the end of the Cretaceous period, as the shallow coastal seas and river systems it depended on changed dramatically. Number 6 is genuinely one of the strangest predators to ever exist, and we barely know anything about it, which somehow makes it scarier. Andrewsarchus is known from a single skull, discovered in Mongolia in 1923, measuring nearly 3 feet long, the largest skull of any known land-dwelling meat-eating mammal. Based on that skull alone, scientists estimate the full animal may have been around 12 feet long, with an elongated snout, powerful jaws, and teeth built for both crushing bone and shearing meat.
We don't have a complete skeleton, which means artist reconstructions vary wildly. Some show it as wolf-like, others as closer to a giant, land-based predatory relative of modern hooved mammals. What we do know is that it lived around 45 million years ago in what's now China and Mongolia, likely as an opportunistic hunter and scavenger capable of crushing through the bones of large prey. The mystery of Andrewsarchus is part of what makes it unsettling. We're fairly confident it was massive and powerful, but we genuinely don't know exactly what it looked like or how it hunted. Sticking with ancient mammalian predators, Sarcostodon was one of the largest carnivorous mammals to ever walk the earth, roughly the size of a large bear, but built more like an oversized predatory cat-bear hybrid.
Its extinction ties into broader environmental shifts near the end of the Cretaceous period, as the shallow coastal seas and river systems it depended on changed dramatically. Number 6 is genuinely one of the strangest predators to ever exist, and we barely know anything about it, which somehow makes it scarier. Andrewsarchus is known from a single skull, discovered in Mongolia in 1923, measuring nearly 3 feet long, the largest skull of any known land-dwelling meat-eating mammal. Based on that skull alone, scientists estimate the full animal may have been around 12 feet long, with an elongated snout, powerful jaws, and teeth built for both crushing bone and shearing meat.
Living around 35 million years ago, also in Mongolia, Sarcostodon belonged to a now extinct group called oxyanids, mammalian predators that filled the apex hunter role before cats and dogs as we know them fully diversified. Its skull suggests an incredibly powerful bite, likely capable of crushing bone with ease, and its size meant it probably had few, if any, natural predators of its own. Unlike modern big cats that rely on speed and precision, Sarcostodon appears to have been built more like a brute force ambush predator, overwhelming prey through sheer power rather than agility. It went extinct as more modern carnivore lineages, including early relatives of today's cats and dogs, began to outcompete these older mammalian predator groups.
Number 4 takes us to prehistoric Australia, home to Megalania, the largest land lizard ever known to exist. Related to modern Komodo dragons, but far larger.
Estimates put Megalania at up to 23 feet long, with some estimates suggesting a weight of well over 1,000 pounds. Like its modern Komodo dragon relatives, Megalania likely delivered a bite loaded with dangerous bacteria and possibly venom, meaning that even a prey animal that initially escaped could die from the wound days later. Combined with its massive size and powerful legs, this made it one of the most efficient ambush and weight predators to ever exist.
Megalania survived until surprisingly recently in evolutionary terms, potentially as recently as 40,000 years ago, meaning early humans in Australia may have actually encountered this creature. Its extinction is linked to climate shifts and possibly competition with or hunting pressure from early human populations. Number 3 is the largest snake ever discovered, Titanoboa. This constrictor lived around 60 million years ago in what's now Colombia and grew to an almost unbelievable 42 feet long, with an estimated weight of over a ton. For comparison, that's longer than a city bus and thick enough that its body at its widest point would have come up to a person's waist. Titanoboa lived in a hot, humid post-dinosaur world and likely hunted much like modern anacondas, ambushing prey near water, then using its immense size and muscle to constrict and drown it. Its size was almost certainly linked to the extremely warm global temperatures of the time, since cold-blooded reptiles can grow larger in hotter climates. As Earth's climate cooled over millions of years, the conditions that allowed a snake of this size to survive simply disappeared, and with them, Titanoboa. Number 2 takes us into the ocean, and it might be the most nightmarish entry on this entire list. Livyatan melvillei was a sperm whale relative that lived around 13 million years ago, but unlike modern sperm whales, it wasn't a deep-sea squid hunter with a mostly toothless lower jaw. Livyatan had massive teeth, some over a foot long, in both its upper and lower jaws, built specifically for hunting and killing other large marine animals, including whales roughly its own size. Estimated at up to 57 feet long, Livyatan occupied a similar ecological role to what we imagine an orca does today, except on a vastly larger and more powerful scale, likely competing directly with the largest sharks of its era for the top of the ocean food chain. Its extinction is tied to changing ocean conditions and shifting prey populations as the climate cooled toward the end of the Miocene epoch. Megalodon lived from around 23 million to 3.6 million years ago and is estimated to have grown up to 60 feet long, with a bite force stronger than any animal ever measured, living or extinct. Some estimates place it at over 40,000 pounds per square inch, more than 10 times the bite force of a great white shark. Its teeth alone could be over 7 inches long, and it likely preyed on whales, targeting their flippers and tails to immobilize them before delivering a killing blow. Megalodon went extinct roughly 3.6 million years ago, likely due to a combination of cooling oceans, the decline of the large whale species it depended on, and competition from emerging predators, including potentially early great white sharks. But here's the unsettling twist I promised you. While Megalodon itself is gone, it wasn't a direct ancestor of the great white shark, but the two lineages are close relatives, and the great white inherited many of the same core traits that made Megalodon so dominant: a similar tooth replacement system, similar ambush hunting instincts, and remarkably similar sensory adaptations for detecting So there you have it. 10 creatures that once made this planet a very different, much more dangerous place to live. From land-based mega-predators the size of buses to an ocean ruled by something scarier than anything we deal with today. It's genuinely hard to imagine walking or swimming through a world where any of these were common. Which one of these would you least want to run into? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more deep dives into the deadliest creatures history has ever produced, make sure you're subscribed, because we're just getting started.